This is gonna be a tutorial on Tazzang's Undead Lich fast expand build. From what I've seen, Tazzang generally has the best Warcraft macro builds. Some players like Moon and Lolly have better utilization of the Warcraft units, but I feel like sometimes they drop games because they try to go one base and they just get overrun by StarCraft and StarCraft 2. I'll be doing the demonstration on Vermeer. Vermeer is a 4-player map where 1v1 between StarCraft and WarCraft doesn't get bugged no matter what the no matter the spawn locations. On some maps, sometimes a Warcraft player's creep camps will cause an opponent's natural not to spawn, but on Vermeer, this doesn't happen no matter the spawn combinations. Things will be simpler on 2-player maps, but I'm gonna show the demonstration on a 4-player map just to show you how you would handle a more complex scouting route. Generally, 4-player maps will work if the map has a rotational symmetry with 4 bases per spawn. And generally, 2-player maps will work if there are 7 bases per spawn, but you do need to playtest each map to check if your creep camps or your expansions are bugged. I'll list several maps that I've tested that work well in the description. Do note that future patches might change the how well these maps play though. So when you enter the game, first thing you want to do is make an acolyte at your necropolis. Your ghoul will start mining right away, but your acolytes, you have to send them to the gold mine. Make an altar and a ziggurat. Rally your necropolis to your other gold mine. And then rally your altar of darkness to your natural. The way I'm setting up my screens, I'm doing it Brood War style since I'm a Brood War player. F2 for the minerals, F3 for my production, and F4 for my natural. So queue up just keep queuing up acolytes. I'm the damned, stand ready. And then here, you don't actually want to queue. We're gonna make 7 acolytes, but you don't actually want to queue the 7th one until you make your graveyard or your crypt. So at 200, make a crypt. SimCity doesn't really matter. Just make sure you leave 1 space between your necropolis and your buildings. Otherwise, sometimes acolytes might get stuck. Now, we're gonna make our 7th scouting acolyte. And before that's finished, next thing that's gonna happen is your altar is gonna finish. Hold the L button to make the Lich. The Lich has 2 main spells. The first one is Frost Nova. Basically what Frost Nova is it's like Psionic Storm if it does all its damage at once, and it also slows all the units that it hits. So yeah, it's kind of as broken as it sounds. And then his other spell is Dark Ritual. He'll consume it's basically like StarCraft 1 Defiler Consume. He could consume undead units to give himself energy. It does have cooldown, but it's lagless and it's ranged, so not quite as broken as Defiler Consume for StarCraft 1 Zerg, but it's still really good. Now this Scouting Acolyte, it's gonna make a second Necropolis and Tomb of Relics, also known as your shop, and then it's gonna go scout. Your second Necropolis, you want to put it here so that you could morph it into tier 2 Halls of the Dead, and then it becomes this giant tower that's on a cliff that helps you defend. This does open it up to being sniped by like siege tanks and stuff. If you're afraid of that, you could just morph your tier 2 at your main. It's really up to you which one you wanna turn to your tier 2 building. Your tier 2 Halls of the Dead, it will have like gigantic range. It will shoot like a tower, and units that it hit will get slowed. You will take damage when you move out from these creeps. On some maps, it's kinda impossible to scout, but on Vermeer, no matter the spawn location, you're still gonna be able to scout with your Acolyte with at least like around half of your HP. When your crypt finishes, start making ghouls.
More gold is required.
And then rally them to the close mineral patches.
More gold is required.
You already have one. You're gonna be making 3 more ghouls for a total of 4. And it doesn't really mess up the build if you like queue all 3 at once.
More gold is required.
I wish.
So that's all our 4 total ghouls. And then just rally them to new mineral patches. Opponent's not here. Let's check the other spawn location. After you've rallied your 4th ghoul, your Lich is gonna finish. Your Lich is gonna go to the shop and get Rod of Necromancy, which summons skeletons from corpses. It's 2 skeletons per corpse, and each skeleton is like a super zealot. It has more life and more attack than a zealot, but it is a summon, so it will expire over time.
My life I wish only to serve.
So hold the R button, and then Frost Nova, and then kill the archer. Try not to fight them all at once, and then turn your second Necropolis into tier 2, and then make a other Acolyte. He's not here, so he's last spawn. And then you're gonna rally this Acolyte to the gold mine. You're gonna take 1 off from the gold mine to start making new gold mines at your natural.
Our forces are under attack.
And then rally the rest to your natural. And then keep making skeletons when the cooldown is off. Next, since your skeletons are gonna expire, you wanna creep after you clear the 2 green camps. You wanna go straight to the shop. Kill the healer in the back. Oh, I'm gonna lose my scouting acolyte. Even I'm not used to the multitasking yet. But it's fine that we lost our scouting acolyte. Then you're gonna wanna make your graveyard, and then ziggurat. Gonna heal up a bit. Undead units heal on their Blight, which is pretty much the same as creep. And then finish off this guy. You do get money from killing creeps, so you do want to be creeping. At this point of the game, your Lich is not going to be able to creep other camps by himself. You're going to have to wait for your second hero and your units. But now is the time where you could choose if you want to get a Staff of Teleportation, which lets you teleport to any of your buildings or units. So, like say people are gonna try raiding you a lot, Staff of Teleportation is good for that. Or you could get Boots of Speed, which it's basically like Speedling upgrade for your Lich. If you find some sentry wards, you could put them like in key locations on the map. But if you find like a good item like Book of the Dead, you could go for a tier 2 attack. Depending on how well the creeping went. I should have been taking more with the skeletons, but I let my Lich get really low, which is pretty bad, but because I was busy multitasking while I was explaining things. If you do get a Book of the Dead, you could go attack. You could get like a second rod of necromancy with the Book of the Dead. Book of the Dead will summon 6 skeletons instantly. 3 of them are basically going to be as strong as dragoons. 3 of them are basically as strong as, or a bit stronger than zealots. So you in general, StarCraft and StarCraft 2, they're generally gonna wanna wall because they're afraid of the strength of WarCraft 3 heroes. Like they're gonna build a wall of supply depots or hatcheries or like gateways and stuff, because they're afraid of like Illidan running in with immolation and like just touching their probes and burning their probes, or they're afraid of like Crypt Lord rushing you with beetles and skeletons. So with the Lich, if they're being greedy with their wall, you could kind of Frost Nova over their wall, kill some units, summon some skeletons, summon Book of the Dead, and then you could do a lot of pressure. And if things go wrong, you could just TP back home. Or if you scout your opponent and you see that they made a lot of defenses, you could just back off and save the Book of the Dead for later.
I bow. Where Shimada? My light foot.
So you want
I bow. I wish only
6 acolytes and then 1 builder.
my light.
Get a second crypt. We're getting second crypt because even though we're in this build, we're only gonna be pumping from 1 crypt, but you kinda want the second crypt just in case you need to pump extra gargoyles. I feel like gargoyles are so much better in general at handling StarCraft 1 and StarCraft 2 harass compared to fiends. Like, for example, speed vulture raids, banshee rush, mutalisk raids, speedling raids, 1-1-1 wraith play, dropship harass, Reaver Shuttle, etc. So you're gonna want to make gargoyles over crypts in my you're gonna want to make gargoyles over crypt fiends in my opinion.
Where I someone is upgrade.
Oh, when your gold mine's finished, send 3 to mine,
Thy bidding.
and then make the Death Knight when you
More
can,
gold is required.
and then mine the second gold mine.
I wish only to. I would.
So 2
Thy bidding.
crypts.
Yes, master.
When this graveyard
Where
finishes,
shall my blood be spilled? Someone is
2 Temple of the Damned to create Necromancers. Necromancers have a spell that's basically the same as Rod of Necromancy, where from each corpse they summon 2 skeletons, which are as strong as like 2 super zealots. So if you have like a lot of Necromancers, it does kind of get broken for the Warcraft 3 player, where say you Frost Nova, in one Frost Nova you kill like 5 Zerglings or Marines, and then from those corpses you summon 10 super zealots. In my opinion, Necromancers are really strong, and that's why we're going for them in this game.
I wish only to serve.
And then
My life for Nezul.
2 crypts, 2 Temple of the Damned to make Necromancers, and then 1 Slaughterhouse just to make 2 statues. You wanna maintain 2 statues, 1 on mana and 1 on life, to give you healing and mana regeneration. Then your Acolyte is gonna build another Ziggurat, and then go for to expand at your third. Rally your Necropolis, and then start making gargoyles.
My patience has ended.
And then as these acolytes come out, you wanna make
My faith.
you wanna make ziggurats. We're going to the Centaur camp, Frost Nova the middle, and DK and Lich could clear this camp by themselves. Just make sure you coil the Lich. You tank with the Lich, and then you coil the Lich.
Where shall my blood is? Yes, thy bidding. The damned stand. I wish I wear my life.
So your gold mines.
Shadows beckon. More gold is required.
What does the shadow stand ready?
Next, we're going straight to the Goblin Lab, so we could get a Shredder. The big boar at the lab does do chaos damage, so you need to be careful. These Necromancers will do double damage to the boars, so you don't want to take this camp until your first two Necromancers link up with your 2 heroes.
What does the
More gold is required.
the restless
And then make sure you have a supply so that you could buy the Shredder. Nova the middle.
summon is complete.
Tank everything with the Lich, and then heal the Lich with the Death Knight. Oh, we're a bit low.
Stand ready.
Let's back off.
This
Heal up a bit.
you call. I am sworn. Where should I wish my life. This I am like the damned stand ready. So be it.
Tank with your skeletons. Send a Gargoyle to get the Shredder. In my opinion, every race should get a Shredder because for 4 population, you're getting the lumber economy of like 20 wisps. It's literally 1 Shredder equals literally like 20 wisps. It's like so population efficient. I feel like you should always get it. Send a skeleton to look out if the opponent is coming, and then send the rest to attack. We're gonna clear the trolls.
Where shall my blood be spilled?
And then eat your skeletons.
Summoning is complete.
We got a crystal ball that's really nice. It's basically like scan. In Warcraft, it's only 1 use, but for this mod, crystal ball is like a it permanently gives 1 hero scan, so it's really good. And then get tier 3 when you can. Your second statue, put it on mana. Sell this. Get a heal scroll and a protection scroll so that you're always ready to fight. And then mine your camps when they finish. If you're fast about getting these gold mines, I think the fastest I've finished them, they finished around 7:20, 7:30. So I was a bit late this game. Now you want to clear the remaining camps. Second graveyard, so you could get double upgrades. You want to tank with your Lich and then coil the Lich. Basically, your hero generally is gonna take the least amount of damage from units. WarCraft3 piercing damage, magic damage, and normal attack damage is gonna it does different damage depending on which armor type it's hitting, and heroes usually take the least amount of damage, so you always want to tank with your heroes. And then you want to tank with your Lich instead of your Death Knight, because the Death Knight has a healing spell, Death Coil. If they're being aggressive, if they're being aggressive and they try to sandwich you while you're creeping, you could just TP out. And then when your halls is like halfway, I was a bit late, but you want to get 2 more slaughterhouses. Rally them to your natural. Get a second necropolis and a sacrificial pit. Rally the pit to your Lich so that you could make obs, and then get the upgrades, the training upgrade and the skeleton upgrade for your necromancers. And there's still a green camp we haven't finished, we could take that. And then these spotting these spotting acolytes, they're gonna become your observers, your shades. The way that you want to fight is you wanna stay at a distance away from them and then just Nova them. You wanna soften them up with Nova, and then you wanna try to get some kills on their weaker units, because then when you A move with your necromancers, they'll automatically summon skeletons. So keep making necromancers, start double upgrades, and then get disease cloud and abominations. You could go like Gargoyle, frost worms, but in my opinion, abominations are better because if you're going necromancer and frost worm, then both your units are magic type. You want to have both magic and piercing or magic and normal damage. And abominations have basically almost the same amount of health as a frost worm, but they're half the population cost. So they're gonna be like just like way more efficient population wise when it comes to tanking for your necromancers.
The rest of this, my life.
Get a ziggurat, and then yeah, this sacrificial pit is gonna rally the shade to your lich. Get master training and skeleton mastery. What skeleton mastery does for your necromancers is instead of summoning 2 super zealots per corpse, your necromancers will basically summon a zealot and a dragoon skeleton. And the ranged skeletons, the skeletal mages, they have more HP, so when you consume them with the lich, they will give you more mana for more frost novas. You notice we're not really poking or attacking the opponent. It is kind of important to scout what comp the opponent is doing and when they're taking expos. But it's okay for you to play defensive like this because I feel like Warcraft compared to StarCraft 1 and StarCraft 2, they kind of have the defender's advantage, since once you reach level 6 with your hero, you unlock an ultimate ability where the game becomes heavily favored for the Warcraft player. So you're just like defending, creeping, growing strong, trying to hit level 6. The bad news, there's good and bad news about the lich. The bad news is that the lich has a very mid ultimate. The good news is level 3 Frost Nova, which is unlocked at level 5, is better than most people's ultimates. So and then you want to get, for your third hero, you want to get Dark Ranger. Dark Ranger is really good at as an anchor hero because
Summon more ziggurat.
Her silence ability basically shuts up all the annoying StarCraft spells, like teleporting battle cruisers. You just silence them. No, we don't do that here. You could tell those annoying StarCraft 2 players, oh, we don't do that here. Neural parasite, fungal growth, irradiate. She just casts silence, which stops units in the targeted area from being able to cast spells. So like if you're being if they're like neural parasiting your frost worms or your abominations with infestors, if you frost or if you silence the infestors, they'll instantly stop neural parasiting your units. Like your abominations and frostrons will instantly be freed the moment you silence the infestors. You could also silence stuff like High Templars catch Protoss in a time where they're unable to cast Storm. It prevents Vipers from abducting your heroes. And then I would get Dark Ranger as the anchor hero for every race, but as an undead, it's a bonus that you could actually coil her since she's considered a undead hero. So keep your double upgrades going and then pump. You want a full row of Necromancers. You want to maintain 2 statues, 1 on mana, 1 on life, and then the rest of abominations. You could get 1 or 2 extra Necromancers because you want to be casting this spell on your abominations and your heroes, which is basically like a super stim pack, although you have to manually cast it on your units individually, sadly.
What does the rest is the what does the dead the what research complete. Let the living be this what does this what does the shadow research complete.
There's a green camp, and then you want to get backpack from your necropolis, and then also ghoul frenzy so that your ghouls move faster. Not that ghouls are actually good against StarCraft units. They'll probably get shredded by Marine Marauder. But the reason you want fast ghouls and backpack is so that you could have a ghoul constantly supplying your heroes with healing scrolls and scrolls of protection. Scroll of protection, it's basically like StarCraft 1 chitinous plating for your ultralisks. It gives you +2 armor for all the nearby units, so it's really good for fighting. And then healing scroll instantly heals 250 HP for all the units surrounding the hero that use the scroll. So both these scrolls apply also to your skeletons, so you're like playing keep away around their army. You Frost Nova, Frost Nova, Frost Nova until you kill some units, and then you attack with your Necromancers to summon like 10-20 skeletons instantaneously. Then you want a protection scroll so that all of the skeletons and all your units have +2 armor. And then when they're low, you want to hit the heal scroll, and then they'll be all at full life again. And then it's like really, really hard for StarCraft players to deal with this. What else? In WarCraft, generally, you really want to get your orb of corruption on your Lich, but in my opinion, it's better to get heal scrolls because StarCraft units are generally like lower life and lower value than compared to WarCraft units. So it's not worth it to, in my opinion, to get an orb just to kill a Zergling faster. You know what I mean?
What does the shadow will?
Let's scan where they're going. Put a sentry ward here. Finish this camp off.
The restless what does
in WarCraft, it's generally considered really hard to control late game Necromancers because in WarCraft or in WarCraft3, you have a limit of 12 units per control group. But here you could easily control even 100, 200 skeletons with your select all army hotkey. It gets pretty degenerate. So we're gonna just like Just like keep away, cast some, weaken them with Frost Nova, and then go for the attack. Whenever you get a level up with the Death Knight, you wanna upgrade Coil first, and then your Aura second. So you wanna press CU always, just so that you don't have to think about it. You don't have to think about, oh, do I have to upgrade Coil or my Aura? Just press CU each time you get a level up. And then for your Lich, it's Nova first and then Ritual second. So every time you get a level up, you want to press NR. And then for the Dark Ranger, I think it's Silence and Black Arrow, so EB. So just kind of like stay away, Nova them, weaken them with Nova. Just keep your Death Knight behind your army, and then use the protection scroll. Control A. The only thing about using select all army and then attacking is that your shades might sometimes go too far ahead and die. So I have them on control 9 just to like whenever I select all army and attack, right after I press 9 on my to control my shades to pull them back. Keep getting your upgrades. On normal maps, your minerals are gonna run out if you get the shredder at the timing that I showed, generally around 12 minutes. On Vermeer, they kind of do it the StarCraft 1 style, where you have extra minerals compared to most StarCraft 2 bases. So here it mines out 13 minutes, which is a minute later, but on most normal maps it's gonna be 12 minutes that you want to send your ghouls and your shredder to your natural. And then also, to make sure that you constantly have three gold mines worth of mining. When these are 500, you wanna take a new expansion. That way, your expansion will finish by the time that these acolytes finish mining the gold mine, so that they could immediately have a new gold mine to start mining again. The way that you wanna use your Unholy Frenzy, which is basically like Stimpack, is like this. You wanna U, and then U on the box icons here, and you could also use these box icons. I see this abomination needs to get healed, so coil him. And then yeah, that's pretty much how you want to play the game. Get all the upgrades. And then one ghoul could go to the shop. In this game, you could actually stack up to 5 healing scrolls in one inventory slot. So you could constantly keep sending 2 healing scrolls and 2 protection scrolls to your hero. Lost the A-bomb.
This
Yeah, game's basically over. And just finish off the opponent. And then make sure your shades don't run into cannons.
research complete. Research complete.
You don't want to surpass 100 population, because then you'll enter high upkeep, which means that your acolytes will only return 4 gold per trip as opposed to 7. Earlier on the game, when you're at no upkeep, they'll return 10 per trip. So, but right now they're returning 7 per trip, which is still pretty good. But if you do wanna go for a really strong, really high population attack, you could temporarily break to all the way to 120, which is the limit in this mod. Keep your A-bombs and your heroes stimmed up. I forgot to turn auto attack on for auto cast for Black Arrow. Black Arrow basically does extra damage, and any unit killed with a Black Arrow will summon a really big skeleton, and you could eat this skeleton with the Lich to gain a lot of mana for more Frost Novas. You wanna always lead with your Lich so that you could Nova. You could weaken their army with Frost Nova.
What does the shadow will?
They might come from here, so I wanna put my Lich to spot if they're coming. And then just Nova when they're coming. I tend to misclick Nova. Since I'm a StarCraft 1 Zerg player, I tend to press the M key from M control Muta Micro. Maybe I should remap it, but I generally just like to use default hotkeys most of the time.
The dead I wish only to serve.
Oh, I forgot to get
My light
a spare expansion.
Research complete. Where shall my blood be spilled? Yes, the restless direct light.
I think when I was talking about how when these gold mines are at 500, you get an expansion. I think they were probably around 500 at that time, so I should have got my expansion around that time, but I was distracted trying to explain stuff. So when these are 500, you wanna get new gold mine and a new necropolis, and then go back to mining.
What does what does the shadow the dead? The rest.
Computer's just hiding.
The dead. What does the might? Might the rest is better. For the what does the
And yeah, GG. Games aren't always gonna be that smooth, and you may have to go for different compositions. Like if they're going for raids, you might wanna pump gargoyles off of 2 crypt, pump gargoyles off of 2 crypts rather than 1, and delay your necromancers if they're like being pesky with like air units or fast zerglings or whatever. Oh, I think what I forgot is when you first leave your base with your Death Knight, you should probably buy some Dust of Appearance. It's basically like scan. It scans around your hero in like a circle. Just to deal with like DTs or cloaked banshees or cloaked wraiths or like burrowed Zerg play. Yeah, you wanna rely on dust until you get your shades. But I had a crystal ball. If you find a crystal ball, you could skip the dust. And I'm gonna link some of Tazzang's games so you could see like how he plays it. I was a bit more greedy, taking the third a little faster. It depends on your opponent. Like if they're expanding, you could get the third the same time that I got it. Or if they're powering up onto base, you might want to delay your third and power up your army, your gargoyles and necromancers with your statues. And yeah, I'll be doing a basic build for all the other races. I just have to practice up so that I could actually properly demonstrate them.